Hello, hello, hello. Welcome to another installment of AeonEsq Live. My name is Brianna Jenkins, but here you can call me Aeon. I want to welcome you all back. For those who missed it yesterday, we did a special edition of AeonEsq Live yesterday where we did a deep dive of the DL Whisperer, just how we got here, why this is important, how we need to reprioritize Black trans women and femmes and their safety in that particular conversation. And we were on live for about 2 hours. So shout out to everybody that was able to join me on that live yesterday. It was a very generative, good conversation. If you missed it, please go and be a part of the replay gang. The video is on my channel on the live section. You should find it in the AeonEsq Live playlist, where you can find that video and all of the other the previous installments of AeonEsq Live. So today, I originally wanted to talk about 2 topics and then an additional topic. Well, first of all, let's just address the thing. I was supposed to come on here at 12. In preparation for that show last night, I drank 2 Red Bulls. So I ended up staying up. So after the live ended at 11, I didn't go to bed until like 5 in the morning. Definitely was not in my plan. So the show that was supposed to happen at noon did not happen at noon from what you all see, but I just wanted to push it back and come on now. So that's why I'm coming on here later, but it's all good. It's all fine. When you are the creator of the platform, you can go live when you want to go live. If this is your first time to AeonEsq Live, please be sure to subscribe to this channel so that you can get notified the next time that I go live or anytime I post new content on my YouTube page. Also, please make sure that you like and share this video. I am so appreciative of the likes and shares for all of these videos, so please make sure that you're doing that. Also, this is a community conversation, so if you are watching this live right now, please feel free to interact with me in the live chat, or if you're watching this as a part of the replay gang, please leave comments on the video. I am in the comments. I interact with you all. So please feel free to leave comments. Let me know what you think. Let me know what your opinion is. I would really like to interact with you and learn from you as well. Also, I'm going to put the link in the chat now. I do want folks who have, because from what I've been reading, a lot of people have a lot of opinions about this topic that I want to discuss. Please, once we get towards the end of today's show, please feel free to click the link. I will bring you up here. You can either get on camera with me, or if you don't want to get on camera and you just want to be audio only, we can do that as well too. Shout out to my baby in the audience. I love you, Dana. Shout out, Dana. We about to get in. So I think in the essence of time, we can just nix the TSA. I wanted to talk about TSA pre-check being temporarily suspended because of the government shutdown. But today it was announced that that the TSA, the TSA said on Sunday that its pre-check airport screening lanes are operational, and this was posted on CNBC this morning. Well, not this morning, on Sunday morning, February 22nd, that TSA pre-check lanes are operational. So it seems like pre-check and global entry, the suspensions have not either taken effect yet, or they're not going to take effect at all. Cool beans. So let's rip that off, throw that to the side. I also wanted to talk about the Supreme Court striking down Trump's tariffs, but that's going to be a deeper dive. I think I would just want to hold that for another day. and I really want this live to be about the controversy surrounding the BAFTA awards and this person in the audience who lives with Tourette syndrome, who, according to reports and some of the videos that we're about to watch that I have not seen yet, and I purposely I didn't watch them yesterday because anytime it has something to do with racism or just something ridiculous, I am protecting my psyche. I'm not engaging with stuff until I'm ready to engage with it. So we can all watch the video and react to the video today and just react to the subsequent fallout. And then towards the end, I think that's when I will pepper in just my opinions, because this is a situation with disabilities, and I am generally aware of Tourette's. I'm generally aware of the disability community, and also in the past couple of years, I've had to come to terms with the fact that I am somebody that's living with a disability as a cancer survivor, and just how going through cancer and going through chemo has changed certain aspects just of my body and my health, and just having to come with terms that I am disabled and saying that out loud. And so yeah, I've had to come to terms with that. So I am generally aware of the disability community. So I'm going to proceed with caution as I is that the word I want to use? I'm just going to be very mindful of how I approach this topic, but I have a lot of thoughts and I have a lot of opinions pertaining to this topic. So let's just go. Let me get out of these windows and let me go. Let me go here. Let me go here. Please give me a second, y'all. Okay. So let's go here. Okay, y'all see that? Y'all see that? Is it working for y'all? Okay. So yesterday, the BAFTA awards happened. Just generally, the BAFTA is like the UK, the British version of the Oscars. Sinners, which is the Ryan Coogler movie that Michael B. Jordan starred in, and Delroy Lindo, who is my forever husband. This is how I knew I was queer as a child. I had a crush on this grown ass man as a child. Delroy Lindo was fine as a child to me. I remember the first time I really got into him. Well, I got into him when he was the father in Crooklyn. When he was the father in Crooklyn, he was fine, but he was 70 fine. But when he really made me know it was when he was in that movie Clockers with Mekhi Phifer and some other people. The which I think Clockers was also a Spike Lee film. But Delroy Lindo is just fine, and he that is a fine old man. But I'm going off on a tangent. I'm going off on a tangent, but I am a woman that appreciates an older man, and I just hate that my man had to go through this. Okay. So they were at the British version of the Oscars, and they were presenting an award. And also, another side note, my man better get the Oscar award for Best Supporting Actor in Sinners, because he just did his thing, and it's just long overdue. Okay. Getting back to the story at hand. They were presenting this award together at the British Oscars, the BAFTAs, and this situation happened.
I are delighted to be presenting the first BAFTA of the night for a vital part of movie making. We're here to celebrate. Delroy and I are delighted to be presenting the first BAFTA of the night for a vital part of movie making. We're here to celebrate.
Okay, Kitty. So what we heard was as they were presenting the award, somebody in the audience yelled out the N-word. I'm not gonna say it on here because I don't know if this is gonna demonetize me at some point, so we're not gonna say it, but for all intents and purposes, somebody said the N-word with the hard R. So let's slide to the side. I don't think I want to go here yet. Okay. So let's just read the caption. So John Davidson, that's the person that's being reported that hurled out the N-word. John Davidson, a Caucasian man, a Caucasian man with Tourette syndrome, hurled the N-word at Michael B. Jordan and Delroy Lindo as they presented the first award of the night. Oh, damn. The first award of the night at the British Academy Film Awards in London. The host later asked for understanding in regards to Davidson's several explicit outbursts during the show, saying this can be part of how Tourette syndrome shows up for some people. Davidson is the inspiration behind the two-time BAFTA-winning movie I Swear, which drives into the condition. So let me see if I can make this bigger. Okay, let me not do that. Okay. So this person right here, I'm assuming that the older heavyset man is the John Davidson person that has the Tourette's, and maybe this person right here, the more slender, I guess the beauty version of him. For those of us who are watching the beauty on FX, the beauty version of him, I'm assuming is the person that played him in the movie. So let's go to the slide. So apparently, after the situation happened, host Alan Cumming, also the host of The Traitors, also what mutant did he play in X-Men? The Blue Nightcrawler. That's what I remember him from. Host Alan Cumming thanked the audience for their understanding after a series of audible outbursts from Tourette's campaigner John Davidson. Oh, excuse me, I read this wrong. Host Alan Cumming thanked the audience for their understanding after a series of audible outbursts from Tourette's campaigner John Davidson interrupted the ceremony. One incident saw Davidson shout the N-word while Michael B. Jordan and Delroy Lindo were on stage. Davidson, the inspiration for the BAFTA-nominated I Swear, was diagnosed with Tourette's at 25. His symptoms include tics and involuntary outbursts. You may have noticed some strong language in the background there. This can be part of how Tourette syndrome shows up for some people as the film explores that experience, Cummings told the audience. Okay. I will get back to that later. Okay, so this was the situation. So as I was going live yesterday and I was lightly just checking my phone, I saw this was a thing. I saw this was a thing, and I didn't know if I wanted to touch it, only because like I have knowledge about what it's like to be called the N-word and what it's like to be Black, but I just have, like I said, general knowledge about Tourette syndrome. Like the first time I ever had awareness of Tourette syndrome as a thing, there was this movie from the 90s called Deuce Bigalow, Mil Gigolo, with, I can't remember the guy's name, but he's a comedian, really funny looking, from Saturday Night Live. He starred in the movie, and basically and I'm sorry I'm going off on tangents, but I just like to create context, and this is my style of telling stories, so please bear with me. This is my style of telling a story. So what happened was, I believe the premise of the movie was he was like a fish tank cleaner or like a pool cleaner. He goes into an actual gigolo's house, kills the gigolo or incapacitates the gigolo, and in order to kind of keep everyone at bay and not draw attention to the fact that he may have killed or incapacitated this gigolo. He assumes the identity of this gigolo and takes over for his clientele that he has. And then one of the clients that the gigolo had was this woman that had Tourette syndrome, and it was kind of like a comedic thing because she would just spurt out random stuff like uncontrollably. So that was the first time that I had awareness of Tourette syndrome being a thing. Excuse me really quick. I need to get a damn tissue. Hold on, y'all. Okay, I'm back. So yeah, that was my first time being aware of Tourette syndrome as a condition that people suffer with. So let's go to the next thing that I want to bring up. Let's go here because we're gonna do a deep dive. And before I go in, just why this is called AeonEsq Live and just my training as a lawyer. Part of the practice of law is researching, gathering our facts before we go in and share our opinion on things. So I want to go here. I want to go here. So what is Tourette syndrome? We might be killing the environment, but hey, we have our information. So AI tells us that Tourette syndrome is a nervous system disorder characterized by involuntary repetitive movements and vocalizations called tics, typically emerging in childhood between ages 5 and 10. While there is no cure, symptoms often improve or disappear by early adulthood. Treatments focus on managing severe tics through behavioral therapies and medication. Symptoms of Tourette syndrome tics are classified as either motor movements or vocal sounds and can range from mild to severe. Simple motor tics include eye blinking, shrugging shoulders, facial twitching, head jerking, or arm thrusting. Complex motor tics include jumping, touching objects, smelling or mimicking others' movements. Simple vocal tics, throat clearing, sniffing, grunting, or coughing. And then complex vocal tics include repeating one's own words, repeating others' words, echolalia, or rarely uttering socially inappropriate words, coprolalia. So I think what John Davison did, it puts us in the realm of this being a complex vocal tic in the land of coprolalia. I hope I'm saying that correctly. Okay, so let's now go because the I'll get to that at the end. Because the big point of contention is Mr. Davison, is he or is he not a racist? Or that's one point of contention. Another point is, can somebody with a can somebody that has a disability, if they have one of these tics, and if they say something that is derogatory, does that mean that they are racist? Does that mean that they are racist, or are these tics indicative of a deeper mental awareness that is coming out? That's the conversation. That's the discourse. I don't know if it's appropriate. It may be appropriate. It may be not appropriate. But this is kind of like the undertone of a lot of the conversation and reaction to this event that shouldn't have happened, but it happened. But in my opinion, it should have been handled better on the back end. Okay. So let's go to corporalalia and let's see. So let's see what this is. Let me go to this page. If y'all are cooking with me, if y'all are rocking with me, let me know in the comments. Also, if you have opinions or thoughts, please feel to share those right now. So let me go here. Okay. So we ruined the environment once again, but it's all in the goal of attaining more knowledge, so that's okay. So the involuntary utterance of derogatory terms, slurs, and profanity is a symptom of Tourette syndrome known as corporalalia. While often portrayed in media, this symptom is rare, affecting only about 10 to 15% of individuals with Tourette syndrome. It is considered a complex vocal tic, but not a reflection of a person's thoughts, belief, or personality. Key facts about corporalalia and Tourette syndrome. Um, Corporalalia is a neurological, involuntary, and uncontrollable outburst caused by faulty wiring in the brain's inhibitory mechanisms. Although it is the most well known symptom, it affects a minority of people with Tourette's. Nature of outbursts. These tics can include swear words, racial slurs, sexual references, or other taboo phrases. People with the symptom often feel intense embarrassment and struggle to cope with the social stigma. Other related symptoms. Other similar symptoms include corporal involuntary obscene gestures, and choreographia, involuntary obscene writing. Commentary, misconceptions, and context. This not a swearing disease. The vast majority of people with Tourette's do not have corporalalia, involuntary nature. These outbursts are not on purpose, similar to a physical sneeze or an itch. It looks like they've already referenced this BAFTA 2026 incident. A prominent recent example involved a Tourette's advocate with corporalalia shouting a racial slur at the 2026 BAFTA Film Awards, which caused controversy over the broadcasting of the involuntary offensive language, not just profanity. Corporalalia is sometimes confused with the non-obscene, socially inappropriate behaviors, but it specifically refers to the utterance of obscene or derogatory words. Okay, so it looks like this is really a specific type of Tourette syndrome, and that and maybe David suffers from this type of so basically, now that I read this, because I didn't know all of this yesterday when I first came across the story, so that's why I'm glad like my nature is not to like immediately react to something, because as a Black person, when you're called the N word with the hard ER, like your natural thing is to have a reaction to that, or a response to that, especially in a setting where you as the Black person, you may not be able to react in the way that you really want to react, because you're with your peers, your career's on the line. If you step out of line, it could affect your future prospects, especially for Michael B. Jordan and Delroy Lindo, who have the Oscars to think about and who are deep in award season for this movie that they deserve everything for. So I'm glad that I know more about this very specific type of corporalalia. It shifts a little bit of my analysis, and I'm willing to be open to the possibility that maybe, just maybe, this person was not engaging. Maybe, well, I don't know this person at all from a can of paint, but maybe this person is not racist. Maybe this person was suffering from this condition, and they had they had a symptom that was indicative of this specific type of condition. But let's go on. Let's get out of here. Okay, so before we go here, so somebody that I follow had commentary about it, had commentary about this. Somebody that I respect in this, usually on point when it comes to these things. So let me see if I can pull this up. So Preston Mitchum created a post because, again, it's a lot. And like I just alluded to before, Black people in these situations, like we have to hold a lot of grace in so many situations where grace is not extended to us, particularly when we talk about the system and the institution and the choices that they could have made to not air this, but to protect the dignity of these Black people that were on here presenting the first award of the night. But yeah, we just have to hold a lot as Black people, especially during these times. And I think what Preston said really brought things into perspective and hit the and brought things home, at least for me. So Preston said, we need to address both Tourette's and the impact of Black people. And in particular, Michael B. Jordan and Delroy Lindo hearing a white man screaming the N-word at them. It's very disingenuous to not discuss the latter and only anti-Black racism wants us to ignore that. And while people are rightfully educating people on Tourette's, it isn't lost on me that many of these same people are doing so in a way that excuses or minimizes racist language. No. Okay. So yeah, I also what I was saying yesterday, and I think this was in, excuse me, y'all. I think it was in reference to just Alan Cummings' apology, because again, in the apology, and we just went over it, there was excuse and grace for this person having Tourette's, but there was no acknowledgement of the gravity of the word that was used and how that impacted not only of the Black people on the stage, Delroy and Michael, who are presenting the award, but the Black people in the audience, the BAFTAs, but also, excuse me, but also the Black people around the world that just had to watch that, especially during Black History Month. So it just wasn't balanced. And then some of the discourse that I was looking at, particularly on Threads, there were a lot of disability advocates that were just advocating for this Tourette's is a thing, corporalalia is a thing. But then on the other side, there really wasn't any acknowledgement of the weight and gravity for Black people having to hear that word, and it just wasn't balanced. So it's just a lot. And we as Black people, we are always in a situation where we have to be dehumanized, embarrassed, humiliated on a public level, and we are just supposed to be unprotected and take it. And people are we're tired. People are just tired. And no shade, I really felt before I got this information, I'm like, I feel like the people are really trying to get a rise out of us. And they're really going to extreme lengths to try to get us to act out of character, and it's just like at what end? At what end? Okay, so now I want to go here. So let's go here Thank y'all for sharing with me. If y'all are still in the live or if you're still watching, please be sure to like the video, share the video, leave a comment. So now let's go here. So is this, hold on. Okay, so let's go here. So News One published an article because it instantly, before we get here, just to try to insert some funny stuff. If John Davidson was racist and he was motivated by seeing like two black men on stage to call them the N-word, the Hardy are, the diabolical part of me I wonder what would have happened if one of the girls was on stage, y'all. Can we laugh about it, Miss Thing? Can we laugh about it, like real quick? What would he have done if like Laverne Cox got on the stage and she came into the pit, or T.S. Madison? No shade to T.S. Madison, I love you down, but I wonder what slurs or set of slurs would have been blurted out if one of the girls would, bitch, what slurs would have been hurled out if Billy Porter came on that stage with the wig and the teeth and just the like I like again, this is not a funny situation, y'all, but we gotta try to find the laughter and the joy somewhere, y'all. Come on. I'm just am curious if one of our sisters, our soul sisters, was to tiptoe. And I wonder, is this I Swear movie? Let me look it up real quick. I Swear film, is that nominated for any Oscars? Because we might see him at the Oscars, honey, if he's invited to the Oscars, honey. Okay, let's go to our good girlfriend Wikipedia. Let me get off of here and let me bring y'all into my world and share the screen. Just for the key. Are y'all brave enough to type the words in the chat or in the comments, the words he would have used if it would have been one of the girls on stage giving the award? If you're feeling brave in 2026, write it down. Write it down, honey. Let's get creative, girl. Let's have some fun. Let's have some fun, honey. If we can't laugh at ourselves, honey. So I Swear, when did this come out? It was released in the UK October 10th, 2025. Is a British biopic based on the true life story of John Davidson. Okay. Let me see. Oh, he's 54 years old. Lord Jesus. Okay. 54 years old. Okay. John Davidson, a Scottish man with severe Tourette syndrome, and follows his life primarily following the 1989 television documentary John's Not Mad at a time when his condition was barely identifiable. Okay. Let's go down to awards. Okay, so this is not nominated for any Oscars. This is only limited to the UK and Britain. So it was nominated for British Independent Film Awards and for the BAFTA, British Academy of Film Awards, which is like the British Oscars. The British Oscars. So it looks like the person who was the lead actor won the lead actor award. I bet that was a bummer. I bet that was a bummer to have to talk about why the real guy who inspired the role, why he did what he did. But okay, so it looks like we're gonna have the opportunity for this to be repeated because it was only nominated for those two awards that are specific to the UK. But honey, like I said, if y'all feeling brave, leave it in the chat or leave it in the comments. What words or terms do you think he would have used for one of our girls or boys? Excuse me, y'all. Okay, so let's go back to news one. Let's go back to news one. So after BAFTA and word controversy, a black woman with Tourette's offers crucial context. And I remember, I think the only response that I had, particularly to this, is especially when I didn't just know, when I didn't have the context about the specific type of Tourette's, and I was questioning, was this person racist? So does seeing black people make you say like racist? Like I had a lot more excuse me, more unanswered questions then. I still have some now, but not as much now that I know that this is a random thing and it can be anything. But I also just the inaction to like really address the gravity of the N word and just kind of sweep it under the rug and excuse it. It kind of felt like it kind of felt like it was this conversation, or just the response, is being positioned as only white people have this condition, and only white people get to act in this way. But what if it was a black woman that had Tourette's? Like, would they be given the same level of grace if it was them saying an offensive word to a black person, a white person that was on stage, or a Latin person, or like, would they be getting the same level of grace and institutional shielding that John Davidson did at this award ceremony? So, News One did an article that was published today, and there's actually a black woman who has Tourette's that has a platform on TikTok. So let's read, and I think they have some videos included in here. So, the fallout from the 2026 BAFTA Awards is still unfolding after a shocking moment during the ceremony. Hold on, y'all. Okay, I'm back. So the fallout from the 2026 BAFTA Awards is still unfolding after a shocking moment during the ceremony reignited conversations about race, disability, and accountability. Okay, they're recounting what happened. Actor Jamie Foxx commented under a social media post about the controversy, writing unacceptable and nah, he meant that as shit. Actor Wendell Pierce also weighed in, saying it was infuriating that the first reaction was not a full apology directed at Lindo and Jordan. Journalist Jamela Hill echoed that frustration online, noting that Black people are often expected to absorb disrespect and spare others discomfort. Okay, they go to discuss how Alan Cumming addressed the audience. Okay. Amid, excuse me one more time, y'all. Thank you. Amid the heated debate, a Black woman with Tourette syndrome, um, SH4YSGRWM, took to TikTok to offer crucial context and widely shared posts. She explained that corporalalia, the involuntary utterance of socially inappropriate words or slurs, affects a small percentage of people with Tourette syndrome. She stressed that while the condition can cause uncontrollable speech, that reality does not erase the harm experienced by those targeted. Her message resonated because it held two truths at once. Disability deserves understanding, and Black people preserve. Excuse me, I'm just tongue tied today. Black people deserve protection from racial harm. So let's see if we can play this video. Okay. Okay, so here we go.
Ignore how I look right now. Critical attention. I am not feeling too great. However, there is something I have been asked to talk about, and that is going to be the BAFTA situation. I have been seeing a bunch of outrage about it, people saying, oh, well, why would that even be in his vocabulary? He did that on purpose and all of this stuff, and that racism is to excuse. Very bitch sad day for the Tourette syndrome community, especially for the ones that have coprolalia, because when you come online and you see thousands of people hating on your condition, specifically coprolalia, because that's something that is already very embarrassing for all of us. Not going to say that people can't be offended by the fact that somebody said the N-word as a tick. However, it's not something that somebody can control. It's not something that somebody wants to say. And I've been seeing a lot of people be like, well, he said it like when the crowd went silent. That is most likely when a tick is going to happen, when you're in public, when you're in complete silence, or when you're trying not to say or do something. So we must understand what coprolalia is. Coprolalia causes involuntary swearing and inappropriate tics. This can include the N-word, slurs, etc. I am a Black person, and even I have the N-word tick and slurs as tics. This is something I don't see many talk about because of situations like this. Is it a disappointing thing? Shut up! That it happened in public in front of that entire crowd, specifically to Michael B. Jordan and the other presenter. I'm so sorry, I do not know his name. I wish I did, but no disrespect to him. I just am not too aware. Yes, it is a very unfortunate situation. Seeing so many people say that they would invoke violence against people with coprolalia if they can't control their tics. That's ableism. The fucked up thing that this happens, yes, but it's something that we can't control. Aggression in the brain being triggered. Shut up. And ultimately causing inappropriate tics. Michael B. Jordan and the other presenter have the right to be upset, especially if they were not aware. However, we need to understand and educate ourselves. And on my videos, I constantly see people saying, oh my god, it's so funny. If I had cursing tics, I would be laughing all the time. But when people actually have cursing tics, then it's offensive and they're a bad person and this and that, the third. We need to do better. We need to educate ourselves better. This is not me saying that people don't have the right to be offended. However, you can't be offended when a disabled person is disabled. I might make a part 2 to this. There's a lot that I need to say, but ignore how I look right now. Critical attention. I am not feeling too great. However, there is something I have been.
Okay, so it looks like that was the first video, and her name is Shay. So this is Shay. She is on TikTok, and she's a Black woman that suffers from Tourette syndrome, specifically the corporal lalia that I had discussed earlier. So it's great just hearing this from her and getting her perspective and just putting this more into context. So let's go and watch her second video about this.
This is part 2 to my last post about the entire BAFTA situation. I am seeing a ton of people saying, oh my god, during Black History Month, Tourette syndrome is not based on a month. Offensive tics are going to happen no matter what shut up a person does. I'm Black. Oh my goodness. And I also have the N-word as a tic. I have other slurs as tics. Does this mean that I use them regularly? Does this mean that I mean them? Does this mean that I can control what I say? No, it does not. That's not how coprolalia works. That is not how Tourette syndrome works. Quite literally the Sweet Anita situation all over again. Shut up. Where she ended up saying the N-word on stream. She got canceled for it, got called racist, etc. We need to do better. I've seen so many people say that we can control our tics. That's not, if you can control a tic, it's not a tic. Let me explain what a tic is in detail. Shut up, bitch. A tic is when your neurons misfire. You think that you can seriously fucking control a neuron misfiring. I've never seen a human possibly do that. We have got to stop thinking with our feelings and start thinking with logic. It is okay to be offended. shut up. But what it is not okay to do is be ableist and try to make it seem like people with Tourette's, specifically those with coprolalia, say their tics on purpose. My whole think piece on this, if you are offended, I do deeply apologize, but I'm just being logical here. I see a lot of people giving their think pieces, and they are specifically talking about racism when tics don't correlate with racism. But that's not what causes offensive or obscene tics. What causes those kinds of tics are coprolalia. Coprolalia, shut up, is completely involuntary and does not involve your vocabulary. This is part 2 to my last post about the entire BAFTA situation. I am seeing a ton of people saying, oh my god, during Black History Month, Tourette syndrome is not based.
So again, I'm definitely appreciative of this video. I feel like I learned more, and I'm glad that we just went through the layers. I'm glad we went through the layers because now I feel like I can sharpen my analysis and I can go where I want to go as we get to the end and I discuss this. So shout out to Shay. If y'all want more information, go follow her on TikTok. Her name is it looks like it's code for Shay Get Ready With Me, but it's SH4YSGRWM. So Shay's Get Ready With Me on TikTok. As a matter of fact, let me copy this. Let me see if it's a link to it. I will put the link. Let's do the link here. So if y'all want more information about Tourette syndrome, especially from a Black woman, we can get the information directly from her platform. Okay, so I have 2 more things that I want to share, and then I think I can. We're at an hour already. I can land the plane. And yeah, I can land the plane. So shout out to Shay one more time. And let's go here. If you're new in the live stream, please make sure you subscribe to the channel, like the video, leave commentary, engage in the comments. It is definitely appreciated. So it looks like, going here, I'm going to take Shay's TikTok information down. It looks like John Davidson issued an apology. That's really, really great. Let me see if he... So Tourette's activist John Davidson says he's deeply mortified that anyone would consider his involuntary tics to be intentional after yelling the N-word at Michael B. Jordan and Delroy Lindo during BAFTAs. In a statement shared with Variety, Davidson emphasized that his Tourette's tics are involuntary and are not a reflection of my personal beliefs, adding that he was deeply mortified if anyone considers my involuntary tics to be intentional or to carry any meaning. He thanked organizers for their support and for telling the audience in advance that his condition might cause unpredictable noises, saying that he felt welcome and understood in an environment that would normally be impossible for me. Davidson said that he attended the BAFTAs to celebrate I Swear, a film about his life that more than any film or TV documentary explains the origins, conditions, traits, and manifestations of Tourette syndrome. Aware of the distress his tics were causing during the ceremony, Davidson said he chose to leave the event early. As reported during the ceremony, Davidson's outbursts included him shouting the N-word while actors Michael B. Jordan and Delroy Lindo were presenting an award. Alan Cumming addressed the crowd. The moment was later delayed on BBC's delayed broadcast, prompting apologies from both the broadcaster and BAFTA for not removing the offensive language. It's unclear if personal apologies have been given to Jordan and Lindo. Okay, so it looks like John Davidson gave an apology. That is great. And also knowing what we know now about Tourette syndrome and about corporal Lalia, we know that it's that is not necessarily associated with racism. Now, I want to say that does not mean that white people with a disability can't be racist, or with this particular disability can't be racist, or don't have the propensity for racism. But what I am getting from what I am learning from today is that it's not necessarily an automatic correlation. If somebody has this type of vocal tick and they say this, it doesn't mean that they're automatically a racist. But multiple things can exist at the same time. A person could be a racist and could do these things, but according to John Davidson, that's not how he personally feels. And after he did it, he removed himself from the auditorium. So I'm glad that he was able to just offer an apology. It would be nice to know if he was able to. Well, who knows? Because what direct access does he have to Michael B. Jordan and Delroy Lindo? But we got an apology. It's public. Okay. So now let's go to this last thing before I kind of try to bring this thing home. Okay. So, oh Lord, I'm sorry. The BBC issues an apology after airing the moment. A man with Tourette syndrome hurled N-word at Michael B. Jordan and Delroy Lindo. Statement obtained by the Shade Room. Some, and this comes from a BBC spokesperson, some viewers may have heard strong and offensive language during the BAFTA Film Awards. This arose from involuntary verbal tics associated with Tourette syndrome. And as explained during the ceremony, it was not intentional. We apologize that this was not edited out prior to the broadcast, and it will now be removed from the version on BBC iPlayer. Okay, so let's get some more information. The show reportedly aired 2 hours after being filmed. Producers have also been accused of censoring winner Akinola Davies Jr.'s speech, where he says he ended the words "Free Palestine." The Shade Room asked BBC why that moment was reportedly cut, but not the N-word. We have not received an immediate response. Okay, so this is where I'm going to place a lot of my blame. The BBC. The fact that I feel like the blame should lie with the BBC and whoever the powers that be that had the ultimate decision on choosing what to cut out, what to air and what not to air. And it's no shade. I think we all can project our racism claims to this BBC system as a whole, but also the individuals within the system that allow this particular moment to be aired when there was a possibility for it to be cut out and for it not to be harmful to the actors, because we have to remember at the end of the day, they are still fucking human. They're human. For it to not be harmful to Black people in the audience, and for it not to be harmful to the Black people that are watching this award show around the world, or the Black people that have to watch clips like this on the Shade Room and the Jasmine brand all around the world. I personally feel like this was intentional because, like in the story said, there was a moment about Free Palestine that was cut out. Also, it was a 2-hour delay between the show being filmed and the airing. So like choices were made. And also, if you were going to air it and leave it in, you could have this statement could have been put in at the beginning of the ceremony, like, hey, this word is going to be said. Here is the context. We apologize for any hurt, any harm that it may cause and how it may impact people. And then you can go into your diatribe ultimately as to why you left the world we're in. But knowing what I know now about this condition and how it impacts people and how it's not necessarily tied to a person's inner feelings of racism and bigotry, and because John Davidson gave an apology and he actually gave actions to prevent he discussed actions that he took to prevent further harm. I can't place the blame on him. I place the blame on BBC, and so often it's so much easier to just go attack the individual because that's what we see, that's the person that we have access to. But no, in my personal opinion, the responsibility lies with the BBC, whoever the powers that be at the BAFTA awards that either allowed it to go on or didn't say anything. But in 2026, you know what you're doing. You know what the impact is. Also, I want to just reiterate what's already been said, and I've said it, and I remember saying this a lot during just the unpacking the conversations about America's Next Top Model and the fallout from that. Multiple things can exist at once, y'all. This disability definitely exists, but also it doesn't take away the pain of that word. But it also we have to talk about ableism as well too, because wanting and I can't lie, in the beginning I was like, oh well, maybe he should get beat up. Like I have to hold myself accountable, because I did have that feeling, because the N word is a painful word for me, especially when you don't expect to hear it. It is a painful word. However, we can't be ableist and problematic and bigoted and threaten violence against individuals who have a disability, who engage in ways where they can't control their body. Like we can't, like y'all, we have to move through this world in a way where we have balance. We give stuff time to breathe. We actually educate ourselves about the condition. We just get more knowledge. We talk to people who are not only living with this condition, but talk to people who live at the intersections. I'm glad that Shay was able to do her video. I'm glad that Shay has her platform where she was able to just bring everything together. But multiple truths can exist at the same time, and we have to start practicing how to balance that. But for me, in my perspective, the blame starts and stops with BBC and whoever the producers at BAFTA was, because again, this could have been avoided. Or if it was unavoidable, context could have been provided to ease the hurt. But nothing was chosen, and I feel like before anybody, direct and public apologies need to be offered to Michael B. Jordan and Delroy Lindo, because it is acceptable that was the first award that was presented. Sinners is the biggest film across the globe, and it kind of felt like, and we can't leave out the part that there's a lot of anti-Black animus towards Sinners the film. There's a lot of anti-Black animus towards the director Ryan Coogler. It's just a lot of anti-Black animus, anti-Blackness towards this film, because it was so successful, because it was so powerful, and because it told a story, and also because there were so many people willing to count this film and count this production out, and it has done the opposite. It's become this blockbuster moment. It's become this it's created a zeitgeist around it, kind of similar to Black Panther. And there's been a campaign by people who are anti-Black and don't like Black people just being successful and basking in their success. We can't ignore that there's been a campaign to knock them down a peg or knock them off their square. And this BBC and BAFTA allowing this fits into the narrative that you wanted this to happen, to knock them off their square, or you didn't want to protect them or give care to them. And we see you. We see you. But I think I will leave that here. But I'm happy that John Davison gave an apology. I hope that we all use this as an opportunity to learn about disability advocacy, what that looks like, what that feels like, especially during times of conflict. I hope this is an opportunity for us to learn about Tourette syndrome, specifically the corporalia that John Davidson suffers from, and even Shay suffers from, and to really come to the conversation with just a level of willingness to learn, and a willingness to have compassion, but also to balance working through the impact of hearing that word and what it feels like. And it's a lot. It's a lot to hold, but it's so hard to resist the temptation of being pulled into the headlines and being pulled into the side. But ultimately, like I said before, my critique lies with the system overall, and BBC and BAFTA Film Awards, they represent that system, because there were choices that could have been. And also this connects back to the America's Next Top Model situation. I'm specifically thinking about the Shandy sexual assault situation. Like, all of this is connected, y'all. It's all connected. There were choices that were made after the initial infraction that really showed the spirit of the person's heart. So in the America's Next Top Model situation, it was after the sexual assault, it was the choice to refuse Shandy to leave. It was the choice to give her the phone and have her film the conversation. It was the choice to then leave out the context about the sexual assault and edit it as her cheating on her boyfriend. And then it was the choice a couple of years later, it was the choice to have Tyra bring it up subsequently in a conversation at the cafe, and have a conversation about cheating instead of a conversation about consent and sexual assault. And then it was the choice 3 or 4 years later to bring her onto your tacky ass talk show, and then have her watch the video after she told you she didn't want to watch the video and you knew why, and then press her about the video. And see, like, so it was choices that showed that you did not have these ladies' best interests at heart, that you were exploiting them, and that they were not human to you, that they were just a commodity. And connecting that to here, there was a choice to, instead of creating context for the situation, to eliminate harm to Michael B. Jordan and Delroy Lindo and Black people as a whole, instead of a choice to protect John Davidson, not as a white person, but just as an individual with a disability. You just allow this to air with no context, and Black people are triggered or hurt because that's a word that we did not expect to hear at a fucking a high class movie award ceremony. And also, you're not protecting John Davidson because he has a real long life condition that people are not getting context for, and people are making the assumption that he's just a racist and want to visit harm upon him now. So it was just the ball was dropped, and the layers of choices shows the intention that led to the ultimate impact. So I have to assume that it was intentional. But that's all that I have regarding this topic. It doesn't look like anybody else is in the chat. I'm gonna post the last comment. I'm happy that we have an apology. I'm happy that we have an apology too. I'm glad that I slow walked this because there was a lot of layers to this. So it doesn't look like we have anybody else here. So I will end this live here. If you are all watching this during the replay gang, subscribe, like, comment. Let me know what you think about the situation. Did you know about Tourette syndrome before this incident? Did you know about Corporal Lalia? Who do you think the blame lies with? John Davidson, BAFTA Film Awards, BBC. What do you think? What do you think could have been done differently to avoid harm? Let's talk about it. Let's talk about it. I will see you all here. I think if I come on here tomorrow, I'm probably going to come later because I have plans. I have plans tomorrow, so I'm probably going to come here either at 4 or after 6. So either way, I'll be on here tomorrow with a new set of topics. But I want to thank you all for supporting me, and I will talk to you all soon. Bye.